You want to put on headphones?
I guess I can do that.
That would be nice.
Look, she's taking my money.
Who took your money?
You did.
I took your money? Thought I've been paying for some stuff. It's me. I'm in LA. I'm in my hotel room. We went to a random farmer's market that had a lot of non-produce things, but we found some sapote. And I've never had sapote that looks like this before. I've had the brown ones that I cooked on the Delish video a while back. And I don't actually know how to eat these. So if you know how to eat these sapote, you let me know, please, so I can eat them. Aaron is currently resting on the bed and he does not want me to include him in this live, so we shall respect his personal space. I got some peanut butter. A lot of you recommended this brand to me when I was asking for your favorite peanut butter recommendations, and I cannot find this brand on the East Coast, and I found it at a Ralph's today, so I got it, and turns out they are owned by Smuckers, so very likely they are going to be very good because I rated Smuckers very highly, and I also rated Santa Cruz very highly, which is also a Smuckers brand. So Smuckers has quite the peanut monopoly on the peanut butter market. They also own Jif, so they are probably not a very good company to support because they're huge, but anyway, I could not resist, so I got it. And I guess I will be checking the bags this time because TSA will rob me of this if I bring it onto a carry-on. Hello, 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 hello. I'm on West Coast time, guys. How's this time work for you guys on the West Coast? There's only 25 people present, probably because all of my East Coasters are like dead in bed now. Some of you may recall that the last time I was in LA, I tried to sew my wallet, and as soon as I finished sewing my wallet, my zipper broke. And unfortunately, I still have not found a way to repair the zipper. I've just been rubber banding it. But Aaron and I were walking through a part of LA today, and it was like a kind of Hispanic Latino street. I'm not sure exactly which street it was, but it was like bordering Chinatown area too. But it looks very cheaply made. Probably was made in China. Smells plasticky. However, it was only $1, so I will be transferring all of the contents in here to here because sooner or later I'm gonna lose all of these things. You can bail anytime you want, ladies, gentlemen, cats, dogs, books. Speaking of books, Aaron and I went to the, what was it called?
I'm not in the stream too.
Oh, something called it says
The Last
Bookstore. And I found these two very old Ellen Watts books, so I bought them. They were $3 each, and they were published a very long time ago, like in the 60s and 70s, and so originally in 1966 this book was 95 cents, and in 1958 this book was $1.50. Or actually this might have been a reprint. I don't know what year this is a reprint. Maybe 1971, but yeah, books. They used to be under $1. Who knew? I've been reading them, and because I left my phone in my hotel today, which was a very liberating experience. I didn't mean to leave my phone in the hotel, but I did. I actually read some books while we were waiting for Ubers and stuff like that. And speaking of Ubers, Aaron and I don't drive, so we've been relying on our feet and Ubers. And it's been okay. It's been very hot. Olvera, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to fix the zipper. I'm just not smart enough. I'm not handy dandy enough to really know how to get get the tracks aligned back into the zipper. I'm sure there's a way to like feed it in. Yeah. But I don't have my computer to read comments right now, so I hope you guys are all doing well. I guess if I'm ready to like not use this anymore, I should just properly try to fix it and or destroy it. But maybe I should just look up a tutorial. This is live. I am coming to you slightly tipsy because we had a wine flight sampling and I took too many sips and I legit started crying. I get very emotional when I get drunk, but I have been trying to record a lot of our adventures, and I'm sure sooner or later you will see it. I am running out of memory card space and batteries though, so if you know of a store that sells SD memory cards and they need more business and they're local and they're small and they're not Amazon, let me know. Maybe I'll go buy a SD memory card. Yes, floofy mic. It gets very nasty. There's like all kinds of shit trapped in there. I should probably wash it when I get home. Should I drink more? No, I shouldn't drink more. I'm just kidding. But maybe I will drink more. I almost want to drink more because the tap water in LA tastes really gross. I haven't gotten sick from the tap water, but you guys do not have good tasting tap water. I think that's why a lot of the water here that are in hotels are all flavored with fruit. I think they just need to like wipe out that tap somehow. I didn't bring a filter. I didn't even bring my noise canceling headphones because I wanted space for snacks, which I bought. I bought a lot of snacks. In fact, what's holding up my phone is a whole bag of snacks that I bought, so I can't move it right now or you guys will fall flat because I'm too lazy to look for something else. But eventually you'll see me eat those snacks. But yeah, we had a good day, ate a lot of good food, and this hotel has a kitchen, y'all. It even has a dishwasher, which I don't even have back at home. It's very exciting. Is San Francisco tap water yummy? Didn't know that. Ooh. Texas, you guys are just not having the best luck this year, huh? I don't think LA has specialty snacks, but we went to Japantown, and so we just got a lot of snacks. There were some snacks that were close to expiration dates, and they were on sale for like $1, so I of course had to grab them. Erin found this really expensive nori, like seaweed strips covered in ume plum powder. Legit sounds nasty to me, but Erin wanted it, so we got it. It was like a small bag for $6, but we'll brew it someday and we'll let you know how it tastes. I'm gonna count my money because I think I lost a $50 bill today. Whoops. Such is life. Worst things can happen. I will just say, the homelessness that I've been seeing in LA is intense. I passed by a few spots and they were all like very covered with tarps, and I, being the ignorant, innocent fool that I am, thought they were just construction sites. But Erin was like, no, there are people living underneath those tarps. And I was like, that is intense. It feels like every city that I go to, especially if I'm a stranger there and I'm not used to seeing these situations, it just feels somehow worse every time I go somewhere. Yeah, Skid Row. I think we were driven through part of Skid Row, like not in the heart of Skid Row, but basically on the border of Skid Row, and it was I don't know, guys. I just don't know. I don't know what we can do. I know we can do something, but I don't know if we can cure these sicknesses. I have so many Metro cards in my wallet, and I have no idea which ones are the ones I should be using. Very confusing. Do you guys want to see my Hearst ID? It looks like a mugshot. All ID photos look like mugshots, don't they? That was back when I had normal long hair. It looked very unhappy even then. Yeah, I know. I can probably go up to one of the booth people and ask them to combine cards, but I'm just like too lazy, and they're always inundated by people asking for shit. And wow, this wallet is roomy. I love it. Now there's like no bulginess. I can retrieve a card and it won't fall apart on me. The only downside to this is I will have less of a chance of this fitting into my back pants pocket, if I even have a back pants pocket. I believe we are going with friends to Santa Monica tomorrow. Does anybody have any must-go-to spots in Santa Monica? We might be walking down Venice too, but since tomorrow is a national holiday, I'm guessing it's going to be swarmed with people. So, I don't know how Fred is, but we got sent a photo by our pet sitter, and he seemed very dismayed and insulted that we absolutely abandoned him to go on vacation without him. Yes, I think New York State's new IDs are also black and white. They look really terrifying. I'm not gonna do a hotel tour right now because Aaron wants to rest and he doesn't want to be part of the stream and he wants to be left alone and we want to respect that. So I will just show you this part. That's the door. That purple thing is the wall. The backsplash. That fridge is bigger than most fridges I've encountered in my life. There is a wall unit microwave, a toaster, a coffee machine, the cutest bottle of dish detergent you've ever seen. Here's my hand for scale. Dishwasher, did I say that already? Those 4 drawers have pots, utensils, everything I need to cook. I have these sapote fruit that I don't know what to do with, but I bought them because I was like, ooh, I've never seen these before. They look like guava, and I know I cooked with the brown skin kind of sapote that has a sweet potato orange flesh inside, but I've never seen this kind of sapote. So like I said earlier in the stream, if you know how to cook these or eat these, let me know. They are raw. They are raw. Some of them have turned yellow. I don't know what's going on here, guys. I don't know why I bought it. Just curiosity, I guess. Passion fruit is so cheap here too. Unbelievable. All the produce here looks amazing. But because we are eating quite a bit out, even if I bought produce to come back and cook, I would have no appetite to eat it. So unfortunately, I don't think we'll be doing much cooking. So there's my new wallet. Cute, huh? $1, y'all. $1. Wow. I hope the child labor people who produced this wallet for me is doing okay. Bring home all the avocados. They're gonna get so banged up in my backpack. That's not very smart. There's like nice glasses and plates and bowls. I've never seen such a furnished hotel room kitchen before. It absolutely amazes me. I wrap them in my clothes. I'm not that committed. I would much rather buy snacks like this. This was $1. There are 6 single serving packs in here. They are rice crackers, and they are imported from Japan, I believe, and they were $1 because they are expiring like maybe tomorrow. But we all know these snacks don't just expire. So what a deal. Can you see? I think there's like a lot of different kinds of rice snacks, and then there's like these little dried anchovy fishies. I'm very excited for this. Who wants to read a book with me? Yes, this is a Marriott Residence Inn. I think it is my first Residence Inn because I have not seen such a decked kitchen. Did you get to visit the donut? No, I didn't get a donut. Sorry. This book is called On the Taboo Against Knowing Who You Are by Alan Watts. I will read you page 7, which, when I was drunk, sounded really good. Okay, maybe it starts on page 6. This feeling of being lonely and very temporary visitors in the universe is in flat contradiction to everything known about man and all other living organisms in the sciences. We do not come into this world, we come out of it as leaves from a tree. As the ocean waves, the universe peoples. Every individual is an expression of the whole realm of nature, a unique action of the total universe. This fact is rarely, if ever, experienced by most individuals. Even those who know it to be true in theory do not sense or feel it, but continue to be aware of themselves as isolated egos inside bags of skin. The first result of this illusion is that our attitude to the world outside us is largely hostile. We are forever conquering nature, space, mountains, deserts, bacteria, and insects instead of learning to cooperate with them in a harmonious order. In America, the great symbols of this conquest are the bulldozer and the rocket, the instrument that batters the hills into flat tracks for little boxes made out of ticky-tacky, and the great phallic projectile that blasts the sky. Nonetheless, we have fine architects who know how to fit houses into hills without ruining the landscape, and astronomers who know that the Earth is already way out in space, and that our first need for exploring other worlds is sensitive electronic instruments which, like our eyes, will bring the most distant objects into our own brains. The hostile attitude of conquering nature ignores the basic interdependence of all things and events, that the world beyond the skin is actually an extension of our own bodies, and will end in destroying the very environment from which we emerge and upon which our whole life depends. The second result of feeling that we are separate minds in an alien and mostly stupid universe is that we have no common sense, no way of making sense of the world upon which we are agreed and common. It's just my opinion against yours, and therefore the most aggressive and violent and thus insensitive propagandist makes the decisions. A muddle of conflicting opinions united by force of propaganda is the worst possible source of control for a powerful technology. It may seem then that our need is for some genius to invent a new religion, a philosophy of life, and a view of the world that is plausible and generally acceptable for the late 20th century, and through which every individual can feel that the world as a whole and his own life in particular have meaning. This, as history has shown repeatedly, is not enough. Religions are divisive and quarrelsome. They are a form of one-upmanship because they depend upon separating the saved from the damned, the true believers from the heretics, the in-group from the out-group. Even religious liberals play the game of, we're more tolerant than you. Furthermore, as systems of doctrine, symbolism, and behavior, religion harden into institutions that must command loyalty, be defended and kept pure. And because all belief is fervent hope, and thus a cover-up for doubt and uncertainty, religions must make converts. The more people agree with us, the less nagging insecurity about our position. In the end, one is committed to being a Christian or a Buddhist, come what may, in the form of new knowledge. New and indigestible ideas have to be wangled into the religious tradition, however inconsistent with its original doctrines, so that the believer can still take his stand and assert, I am first and foremost a follower of Christ, or Muhammad, or Buddha, or whomever. Irrevocable commitment to any religion is not only intellectual suicide, it is positive unfaith because it closes the mind to any new vision of the world. Faith is, above all, openness, an act of trust in the unknown. $3. I think that page alone was worth $3. Fantastic bookstore, the last bookstore. It was really fun. It felt like, the kitschy kind of Harry Potter bookstore in Lisbon that I didn't step foot into, but everybody wants to go. It felt like a better version of that. It felt like it was well-worn, well-used, alive, had character and style and intrigue and fun, and just, it was like a book lover's paradise. So if you're in LA, that's a fun place. It's okay. You guys don't have to click the likes. I honestly don't care. And it does not matter. The likes do not matter. The numbers do not matter. What matters is that if you're here and you're enjoying this, then that's that. This book is so old, it's like fraying at the edges, and every time I flip a page, I hear a crack, and then I start to see it sliver itself and separate it from the spine. So I'm just like trying to look around for tape to hold it together. So it comes with free notes. This is why I love old books, because not only do you get the book, you also get someone else's thoughts of the book. So it's very fascinating. It's almost like a private view into someone else's brain. For example, these have been highlighted on page 68. Life and love generate effort, but effort will not generate them. Faith in life, in other people, and in oneself is the attitude of allowing the spontaneous to be spontaneous in its own way and in its own time. To take the gamble out of the game, to try to make winning a dead certainty, is to achieve a certainty which is indeed dead. And another one, a really good one. Through enslaving others, he himself becomes the most miserable of slaves. Nothing fails like success, because the self-imposed task of our society and all its members is a contradiction. To force things to happen which are acceptable only when they happen without force. This in turn arises from the definition of man as an independent agent in the universe, but not of it, saddled with the job of bending the world to his will. So, like if you like, dislike if you dislike. I don't fucking care. You do you. It does not really affect me unless I affect me. And I am part of the universe, so you are me. Isn't that weird? I don't really know the life story of Alan Watts, but what a brain. Time carries you along like a river, but never flows out of the present. The more it goes, the more it stays, and you no longer have to fight or kill it. You do not ask what is the value or what is the use of this feeling. Of what use is the universe? What is the practical application of a million galaxies? Yet just because it has no use, it has a use, which may sound like a paradox, but is not. What, for instance, is the use of playing music? If you play to make money, to outdo some other artist, to be a person of culture, or to improve your mind, you are not really playing, for your mind is not on the music. You don't swing. When you come to think of it, playing or listening to music is a pure luxury, an addiction, a waste of valuable time and money for nothing more than making elaborate patterns of sound. Yet what would we think of a society which had no place for music, which did not allow for dancing, or for any activity not directly involved with the practical problem of survival? When purpose has been used to achieve purposelessness, the thing has been grasped. When I have a lot of anxiety and it just feels like a shitstorm that I'm caught in, and I'm just like drenched and my body feels heavy and I have trouble breathing, like the wind is just battering itself down my throat. Reading passages like the ones that Alan Watts writes, and another writer, I can't really pronounce his name properly, but he's written books like How to Sit, I think. Really helps to just bring me back to the present, which is to say, it brings me back to nothingness. And nothingness sounds frightening, but nothingness is also so peaceful. It's very calm because it's nothing. We have evolved to think up packages of who we are, what we do, coming up with rationales to give backstories to every single one of our actions and determinations and goals and ideals and values, and then we become trapped by them. They are kind of just like physical, material possessions. And a lot of them don't serve us, and it's like when you try to move house, you realize you've packed up all of this shit over the years and you've stored up so many things that you don't know what to do with, and now you're just like trapped by it. That's the same thing that happens when you are changing as a person, which is constant. And you have all these past selves that you still wear, but maybe they don't quite fit you anymore, and you don't know what to do with them because they have sentimental meaning to you, or they give you pride of some sort, or you've become very attached to them for various reasons. But I don't know. I think also in the past half year, making different kinds of content, like going live on here, doing different kinds of posts on Instagram, some that are political, some that are nihilistic, some that are jokey, some that are deeply personal, some that are just like Fred in various different poses. And watching people react to the presentation of self that I've put out there is very interesting. It gives people cognitive dissonance and they don't know what to do with that information, which then leads them to leave comments that I then read, and then it makes me think, well, then who am I? Am I really a contradiction? Am I not a genuine self? Am I presenting myself in a duplicitous manner? Am I being fake? Am I don't know, just a bad person? Because all of these things make me think, well, if I'm lying about myself, I'm a bad person, right? Because to lie is bad. I don't know, but maybe we lie to ourselves all the time. If you've seen the movie Memento, his story is filled with lies. Some of them are lies that give him comfort. And in a way, for him to survive, he needs them. So I think we lie for different reasons. And I don't really have a conclusion. I don't know. I don't even know if he knows he's lying to himself. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know if lying is a source of shame. Probably in some way. It's hard to process everything in black and white and completely confidently. Do you guys have any writers or books that you read to kind of act as a pill of sorts in your most intensely dark hours? The thought of lying to myself and not even realizing it is horrific to me, says Mallory. It is, isn't it? It makes you think you're not in charge of yourself. It makes you think that you are not you. And then you wonder, well, who am I? Or who am I being controlled by? Some people, yeah, The Little Prince is great. It's a very light but heavy, heavy book. My Instagram is thank9stars, and it's a number 9. Everything else is spelled like you would spell it in English. It is hard for compulsive activists to see that the vast social and economic problems of the world cannot be settled by mere effort and technique. The outsider cannot just barge in like Santa Claus and put things to right, especially our kind of outsider who, because he has no sense of belonging in the world, invariably smells like an interferer. He does not really know what he wants, and therefore everyone suspects that there are limitless strings attached to his gifts. For if you know what you want and will be content with it, you can be trusted. But if you do not know, Your desires are limitless. Your desires are limitless, and no one can tell how to deal with you. Nothing satisfies an individual incapable of enjoyment. The point becomes clear only as one realizes, with compassion and sorrow, that many of our most powerful and wealthy men are miserable dupes and captives in a treadmill who, with the rarest exceptions, have not the ghost of a notion how to spend and enjoy money. Jeffy boy, are you really happy with your money and going off to space? Or are you just trying to find meaning for yourself that does not exist? The startling truth is that our best efforts for civil rights, international peace, population control, conservation of natural resources, and assistance to the starving of the earth, urgent as they are, will destroy rather than help if made in the present spirit. For as things stand, we have nothing to give. If our own riches and our own way of life are not enjoyed here, they will not be enjoyed anywhere else. Certainly, they will supply the immediate jolt of energy and hope that methadone and similar drugs give in extreme fatigue, but peace can only be made by those who are peaceful, and love can be shown only by those who love. No work of love will flourish out of guilt, fear, or hollowness of heart, just as no valid plans for the future can be made by those who have no capacity for living now. The separate person is without content. Content? Who knows which one he meant? In both senses of the word. Well, there you go. Answered my own question. He lives perpetually on hope, on looking forward to tomorrow, having been brought up this way from childhood when his uncomprehending rage at double binds was propitiated with toys. Look at me learning new words from Ellen Watts. Also, y'all, this was written like 60 years ago. 60 years ago, and we're still talking about the same shit with no movement or progress. Hopeless are we all? Or perhaps we are hopeless simply because we are constantly filled with hope, which is trying to eat empty air and survive on empty sustenance. Getting rid of one's ego is the last resort of invincible egoism. It simply confirms and strengthens the reality of the feeling. When this feeling of separateness is approached and accepted like any other sensation, however, it evaporates like the mirage that it is. This is why I am not overly enthusiastic about the various spiritual exercises in meditation or yoga, which some consider essential for release from the ego. For when practiced in order to get some kind of spiritual illumination or awakening, they strengthen the fallacy that the ego can toss itself away by a tug at its own bootstraps. But there is nothing wrong with meditating just to meditate, in the same way that you listen to music just for the music. If you go to concerts to get culture or to improve your mind, you will sit there as deaf as a doorpost. If then you ask me how to get beyond the ego feeling, I shall ask you why you want to get there. If you give me an honest answer, which is that your ego will feel better in the higher spiritual status of self-transcendence, you will thus realize that you, as ego, are a fake. You will feel like an onion. Oh my God, Shrek stole this from Ellen Watts. Skin after skin, subterfuge after subterfuge is pulled off to find no kernel at the center, which is the whole point, to find out that the ego is indeed a fake, a wall of defense around a wall of defense, around nothing. You can't even want to get rid of it, nor yet want to. Y'all are lies. Y'all are made of lies. We are all empty as fuck inside. Maybe that can liberate you, you know? It is scary, but hey, liberation is scary. We've never been there before, so how can we not be scared of it? I don't know, going to college was scary. You got out of eventually. Whether or not you graduated, you got out of college. I hope. Understanding this, you will see that the ego is exactly what it pretends it isn't. Far from being the free center of personality, it is an automatic mechanism implanted since childhood by social authority with perhaps a touch of heredity thrown in. This may give you the temporary feeling of being a zombie or a puppet dancing irresponsibly on strings that lead away to unknown forces. At this point, the ego may reassert itself with the insidious "I can't help myself" play, in which the ego splits itself in two and pretends that it is its own victim. See, I'm only a bundle of conditioned reflexes, so you mustn't get angry with me for acting just as how I feel. To which the answer could be, well, we're just zombies too, so you shouldn't complain if we get angry. But who is it that mustn't get angry or shouldn't complain? As if there were still some choice in the matter. The ego is still surviving as the I, which must passively endure the automatic behavior of myself, and others. Again, as if there was some choice which the witnessing self can make between putting up with things and attacking them violently, what has happened is that the frustrated ego has withdrawn into its last stronghold of independence, retaining its identity as a mere watcher or sufferer of all that goes on. Here it pities itself or consoles itself as a puppet of fate. And oh my God, can't we all relate to this? The last reader who marked this book up said, "Me." So this is our common shared existence experience, isn't it? Yeah, it is going to be a rabbit hole if you start to read him. Don't get too attached. Thoughts are just thoughts. I mean, I'm jumping around in the book. I only read 30 pages and now I'm on 115 because I'm following the underlines in the book. But this is what's fun about an underlined book. You can just jump around. I'm not really spoiling anything for myself because, as Alan Watts laid it out in the intro, you are part of the universe. There is no end or beginning. There is a circle, and there is no starting point on the circle. You are just a circle. So, all of this book is already within me, and all of this book is already around me. And it's just here. He says it right here. There was never a time when the world began because it goes round and round like a circle, and there is no place on a circle where it begins. Look at my watch, which tells the time. It goes round, and so the world repeats itself again and again. But just as the hour hand of the watch goes up to 12 and down to 6, so too there is day and night, waking and sleeping, living and dying, summer and winter. You can't have any one of these without the other, because you wouldn't be able to know what black is unless you had seen it side by side with white, or white unless side by side with black. The thing is, Alan Watts talks about people not accepting the unknown, but he speaks as if he knows everything. It's true. It is true. But if it's useful to you or me, then consume it in the moment and then let it go. I'm not reading this as gospel. I merely enjoy it because I think it echoes something that's already inside of my brain. And so, what always intrigued me about reading literature, philosophy, anything in words is that I can see myself expressed through other people's pages. That in itself was what really drew me to studying literature in college. In a way, it's very ego driven, right? Because I'm seeking books out that seem to validate who I am and confirm who I am. So it's not the truth. It is just my truth. And isn't it so wonderful then to see someone who speaks your truth? Because the earlier passage that we read says exactly that, right? The more that you have people agree with you, the less insecure you feel. So in a way, what reading this does for me is to bring me comfort. I mean, I don't think there is an answer that will cover it all for us. We are at the same time the same and very different. But the sameness and the difference don't really matter beyond the very microcosm individual conflicts and agreements that we go through. I can get in a fight with an internet stranger like that, or I can ignore them. But whether or not I get into a Twitter fight doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't solve a thing. All the people that we've canceled on Twitter, what has that done for our society? I don't think it's done anything good. I don't think it's changed any of our problems. We are the problem. So if we don't change ourselves and we get into fights based on solidifying and affirming who we are to begin with, then we are just making the problem worse. We are confirming the problem and supporting the problem and engendering the problem. And that's why I'm not on Twitter. I've not read The Prophet. I'm not a very good reader, y'all. Yeah, literally, I don't think Twitter fights make anyone feel good. Even if you win it, you feel disgusting. It's kind of like porn. Maybe you get high off of it for a while, and then you're like, I am a disgusting piece of shit. But you know, people like porn. People like Twitter. I like snacks. Are they good for me? No. Do I like them? Yes. Am I gonna keep eating them? Yeah. Do they make me feel awful sometimes? Uh-huh. Thus is life. Thus is life. I mean, fights about everything are pointless, aren't they, y'all? It comes then to this, that to be viable, livable, or merely practical, life must be lived as a game, and the must here expresses a condition, not a commandment. It must be lived in the spirit of play rather than work, and the conflicts which it involves must be carried on in the realization that no species or party to a game can survive without its natural antagonists, its beloved enemies, its indispensable opponents. For to love your enemies is to love them as enemies. It is not necessarily a clever device for winning them over to your own side. The lion lies down with the lamb in paradise, but not on earth. Paradise being the tacit offstage level where behind the scenes all conflicting parties recognize their interdependence and through this recognition are able to keep their conflicts within bounds. This recognition is the absolute essential chivalry which must set the limits within all warfare, with human and non-human enemies alike. For chivalry is the debonair spirit of that knight who plays with his life in the knowledge that even mortal combat is a game. On the plane ride here, I watched Judas and the Black Messiah. I think that's the title. About Fred Hampton. And about the FBI trying to ruin up his life, killing him. Spoiler alert. And defaming the Black Panthers and what they were achieving and wanting to do. And it reminds me of this passage because, like, the FBI created its own enemies. Like, the Black Panthers were not enemies in the narrative that the FBI was trying to put forth, right? The Black Panthers were FBI's enemies, but it was because of racism. Not because the Black Panthers were doing anything that the FBI was trying to pin on them. Yes, they had guns. Yes, they were violent, but their mission statement was not at all what they were being painted as. And so we create our own enemies because we need them. Because the FBI can't be the good guys unless they have bad guys. And if you don't have bad guys to begin with, then you make the bad guys so that you could be the good guy. We make our own enemies. We make enemies out of everyone, and we make ourselves villains underneath. That's a lot of pain we're making for ourselves. He says here that life must be lived as a game. It must be lived in the spirit of play rather than work. And Aaron just asked me today, like, so is what you're filming here going to be one of those walking videos, or are you going to make a ginormous week-long LA week video, or are you going to separate it into days? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I literally have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just filming what I'm filming. I film what I think I have space for on my memory cards. I film anything that brings me joy or catches my attention or makes me curious in the world or makes me engaged in living, because this is what makes me feel alive. It's not always easy to feel alive nowadays. I don't have a purpose in mind. I don't have a framework in mind. I don't have a blueprint for videos in mind. I just film it and then I slap it together and I do what I think is best in the moment, and then I put it out on the internet, and whoever wants to watch it can watch it. Whoever wants to comment can comment. That's how the internet works. I don't have a goal in mind. Obviously, I would love it if people love it and watched it. But even if people don't love it and don't watch it, I want to make sure that I got what I wanted out of it, which is to record all these moments and to be able to relive through them again when I edit them, and to put them in a somewhat cohesive structure so that, you know, anyone who wants to discover them can discover them and vicariously live and taste some of the things that I've lived through and tasted. Is it egotistical in terms of a intellectually masturbatory product of content? Yeah, absolutely. What isn't intellectually masturbatory that we put out in a package for other people to see? Every form of documentation that we have grown used to being public is. It's just the way we live now. I don't think there should be any shame about it. We've grown past that. You know, like, we used to be all hush-hush about sex, and now we're all sex positive. And we all used to be hush-hush about talking about money, and now we're all fucking unionizing and talking about pay, and that's how we, like, gain power as a people. By ridding ourselves of taboos. The more taboos you have, the more you keep yourself down. You are your own oppressor if you have things you can't talk about. And I still have things I can't talk about yet, which means I am not free yet. But maybe I'll get there one day. It's a process. You can't rush it. It will just happen. And the less you can make yourself feel bad about guilt or shame of any of your actions or behaviors or thoughts or propensities, the easier your time will be on this earth. So it's all just part of the game. And if it ever gets too hard, too stressful, too involved, and too suffocating, just try to remember that you are here, and here is you, and it is, and it will be, and you just play the game. That's all you can do. Just play your hand. I guess I'll sign off now, because we might go out for more food. It's very dark. It is. Wow, I can't read a watch anymore. Jesus Christ. It's almost 8 p.m. here. So that means it's 11 p.m. on the East Coast. 5 a.m. You should go to sleep, Joan. But yeah, I hope to, I don't know, make a few videos out of this trip, and I'll be sure to taste some of these snacks soon. And did anyone tell me how to eat these yet? Please, I need help. I will just Google it if nobody has a burning tip for me on how to eat these sapote things. Are they fruits? I think they're fruits. But in any case, happy Sunday, and have a great Monday tomorrow. It's a holiday in the US. I hope you get to take it off. And if you don't get to take it off, I hope you are getting paid time and a half, because I believe those are the labor laws. If you work on a national holiday, you should get paid time and a half. And if you don't get paid time and a half, you should ask your boss why you're not getting paid time and a half. And then maybe you and your coworkers should organize a union. Signing off. Take care. Maybe we'll read some more boring fake Alan Watts tomorrow. See ya.